And initial thoughts on driving it is it's an extremely easy car to drive. It does have a factory clutch, and most of the mods are bolt-on, so there's nothing too wild under the hood. But with that being said, it's still incredibly fun. There's a lot of power at the tip of my foot. It feels good, and it's still a very light and nimble car despite being a sedan. And if you look at the outside of the car, you'll see the doors are very short, the windows are very small. That helps keep that sports car feel. The fact that the chassis isn't so much longer than, say, Coupe or GTR variant. So it really helps this car a lot. It feels really good, and I had the pleasure of watching Bryant take it onto the track and tear it up out there. It looked really great, and the car ran really good. It's an absolute breeze to drive, and I think the best part about this car is just how great it looks. It looks like a $15,000 build, in my opinion, and Bryant tells me he gets looks all the time everywhere he goes, and I absolutely see why. The paint job is amazing. What's the color called?
Porsche Mint Green.
Porsche Mint Green. Definitely one to write down because this car looks phenomenal. It pops. We got out here on a rainy day. We had all the odds against us, and the car is just so photogenic we can't get bad shots of it. It looks fantastic. It drives fantastic, and it sounds fantastic. So really excited to be doing this review. I would say that I really have a great respect for GTST builds. It's very common with the R32 chassis turning 25 years old to see GTRs. And this is not to put any disrespect to those that have bought a GTR, own a GTR, or aspire to own one. But there really is something to the GTST, and I think a lot of people overlook that. It drives great. The RB20 is still a great motor. You're still getting that inline six sound. So as far as this car goes, what modifications do you have if you had to make like a parts list of all your bolt-ons?
For suspension, it has Tine Super Street or Street Flex coilovers. As far as the engine, it's got a front mount intercooler, Blitz, factory blow-off valve, so split fire coil packs, manual boost controller by Voodoo. That's about it. A Pexi power intake. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And what's your boost to ballpark?
For right now, it's around 0.8 to 0.9 bar, but I've pushed it as far as 1 bar on the stock turbo, and it takes it like a champ.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know what you had it to at the track yesterday, but it sounded great. It was really, It was really performant. So
I turned it down a little bit because I was worried that the boost would come on too strong, because it starts making full boost around 4,000, 4,500 RPMs, and it comes on a little strong coming out of the corner, so I turned it down a little bit.
In terms of exhaust, can you tell me a little more in detail? Is it pretty much a straight pipe, or is it just a decat? Do you have a resonator in there?
It's a 3-inch straight pipe from the turbo back, or from the dump pipe back, and then just a hollow muffler. So it had a resonator, but I had it cut out and had a straight piece welded in by Nakamura down in Naha.
Nice. It sounds really good. We'll get some revs so you can hear in car. Definitely sounds great. I love the RB20. It has a very unique sound. It does. And it has that smooth inline six sound, but I can't really put my finger on how it sounds different from the 25 or the 26, but it does have its own distinct sound. I really like it.
In my opinion, I think a lot of it's because the RB20 compared to the 25 and the 26, it's just rev happy.
Yeah.
Like up around 7,000 to 8,000 is where this thing strives, and it takes it like a champ. The thing is just bulletproof. So I've missed a shift and actually downshifted on accident and shot it up past 9 grand. It was just valve bouncing, but it took it like a champ, spit flames. So
yeah, we saw some fireballs. We'll have to see if we can capture some with the DSLR. So I was going to do a small poll for you guys, but with the weather and with how rev happy this car is, as Bryant was talking about, you're just not going to be able to. It goes right into wheel spin as soon as the boost starts to pick up, which is awesome. And I'm sure it would still be trying to do that in dry weather. But for all intents and purposes, the revs will have to do. But we do have plenty of footage of this car on the track, so you're not missing out. So that's for the interior. So we've got a couple Recaro buckets, and you have this harness bar, and you said you got that out of a 33?
Yep, came out of a 33 Gtst. Me and my buddy Eric Thurgood, who runs Gtst Finance, helped me put it in while I was doing the front mount a couple weekends ago.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, and for those of you that haven't checked it out yet, Gtst Finance is ran by a mutual friend of ours. He's actually a new friend of mine, Eric. Really good guy. I'll be sure to link his page down below. You guys should definitely go check it out. A lot of awesome coverage, and it's a great perspective on the local car culture, and he does a really good job of keeping up with it. He's definitely already helped me out with my channel and my stuff, so I look forward to working with him in the future too. So, the fitment. You know that people are going to ask, so give us your specs.
As always, they're I'll show them this how you remember. It's gonna kill me. 17 by either 9 or 9.5 with plus 15 offset.
Okay. So are you running a square setup though? Your fronts and rears match?
They are a square setup. Yes.
Okay.
The Anki RPF ones.
Nice.
Run a little bit of stretch on the tires because we weren't sure how they were going to fit with the fenders. We have the fenders rolled, but we still weren't sure. It is a 15 offset because that's why we weren't sure about the fenders. So we stretched the tires, but the rear tires are done in after RCCA yesterday. There's just chunks missing. So I'm going to throw some new tires on the back. Probably do the front at the same time because I'm going to run a slightly wider tire all the way around to help fill the wheel well a little bit more and hopefully give it a little bit more aggressive look.
It's going to look really good, and I always enjoy more tire than more wheel. There are plenty of guys out there that like the poke, as they call it, and go for the crazy stretch, but really you can't beat more rubber on the road, especially for a car like this that looks beautiful day in, day out, but on the weekends goes to work at the track. You can't beat more rubber. So if you had anything that you would want to say to future Skyline owners, or maybe even specifically to those individuals that want to go out and build a GTST, maybe they're even inspired by your car, what tips would you give them, things to look for in buying one, and those first modifications to not done?
The car alone, like even straight off the factory floor, is already a great driving car, so I would maybe just throw some different coilovers on it, maybe just stiffen it up a little bit. It has the RB20, even if it's well, some of them have actually come with the NA RB25. An exhaust is definitely a really high recommendation because the sound is just beautiful coming from the RBs. And as far as that, just basic breather mods. If you have the RB20 or RB25, especially try to keep the engine bay as cool as possible. They're really hot running engines, so I would definitely, I don't have the coil pack covers off. I try to get as much air in there as possible. I got the vented hood. Just do everything I can to try to keep it cool under there. Aftermarket radiator. It's actually from a GTR. It fits straight in. One thing about the GTSTs, and the thing is the RB20 is extremely underrated in my opinion. They're not extremely powerful motors, but like I said, they're rev happy. The stock turbo, they say not to push over 12 pounds, but like I said, I pushed 1 bar for a few months and it took it like a champ. Still hasn't went. I've been waiting for it, but it still hasn't went. Honestly, just don't listen to everyone else's opinions because you got all those GTR fanboys out there. Why'd you go sedan? Why'd you go GTSTs? Just enjoy the car. It's so much fun without the all-wheel drive. The car is just amazing. So lightweight, great in the corners. Probably one of the best cars I've ever been in as far as like getting sideways and just having fun. So,
well, I gotta hand it to you, man. Your car stands out so much, and it's not just the paint, but the fact that you've got the sedan thing going on, and Jason and I were talking while we were shooting the car, and the fact that you have the GTR Aero, so you got some of the GTR Aero, and you have that aggressive look, but at the same time, it's not like you're trying to clone a GTR. You know, you respect the fact that it is a GTST, you held on to that GTST badge, and the car is what it is, and I think that's what makes it stand out so much, is that you look at it and even though it's a GTST, you think no less of it because it's such a great version of the GTST the way you built it. So it really comes through all the hard work and all the money, blood, sweat, and tears, I'm sure, that have gone into the car. It shows, and the car stands out. It's really an incredible car, and I hate that we're wrapping up the drive. I wish I could buy it from you. And if you ever decide to sell it, you may have to keep in contact with me, because this car is awesome. And for those of you guys on the fence about a Skyline, and for those of you that thought you wanted a GTS or a GTR rather than a GTST, if this fits your budget, go for it. So for those of you that are wondering, we're plus one today. This is Richard, and Richard is an absolute autocross monster. He actually rode with Bryant during his runs in autocross, and it was awesome to see. I figured it was for balance. You know, you gotta have the passenger to offset the weight, but I'm guessing Bryant could explain it best. So Richard plays what role exactly in being the final puzzle piece to your build?
Well, basically my girlfriend Jasmine got it for me, and we decided to name him Richard. And her only rule when I went yesterday, since she didn't go, was he had to be in the car. So that's how he ended up there. He never leaves.
Right, so here he is. So that wraps up this review. I don't do stars, I don't do numbers. Any car I get behind the wheel of, I'm gonna have my own way of appreciating it and loving it, but this car was absolutely effortless. I loved driving it. Like I said earlier, I would love to buy it off Bryant, because it is just an awesome machine. There's hardly any changes that I would want to make to it as is, and I'm absolutely crushed that the review is over. But hopefully I can get a lot more footage of it at the track before he gets ready to head off and go into the next chapter of his life and move on. He's going to be taking this thing back to the States, so for those of you guys stateside, be looking for this thing. It is probably going to be popping up on more than just my channel, and a lot of other people are probably going to want to see it, so you will probably be seeing it some more. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and make sure you stick around for the next one, because we're going to have more great cars and more great